I've recently graduated high school, and during my last 2 years, I went to a career center and got to work with Fanuc Robotics. If you don't know what Fanuc Robotics are, they're pretty much these arm-mounted robots that are meant to do one job. And when I looked at the full mechanics Kenbu for the first time, it reminded me a lot of the robots I worked with. The designs of the Kenbu are super cool, and it reminds me a lot of the anatomy of these robots that I used to work with. This kit in particular is absolutely phenomenal. The design, the posability, and the overall aesthetics of this kit bring my shelf to life, and it is honestly unmatched. Welcome to the UV Hercules channel. My name is Grant, and let's get right into the review. So, I know the anime is a hot mess, but I'm going to be talking about this kit because it is really, really good. And you can find it for a very, very cheap price. I got this for around $34 for all this. And it also came with the clear parts. So the clear parts you can put over to look at the inner frame. I know some Gundams have had this before, but this was a wide scale release that also had that. That's extremely cool. This get released in 2022. I found it for under 40. I've seen it at Hobby Lobby recently for around 50 bucks. It is well worth it. It is beefy. It is really, really nice. It also doesn't have any color correcting stickers, so all stickers you see on this kit are either decals or they are reflective stickers like these reflective green stickers. And some things you might want to know about this kit is that the Kenbu is a CQC AMEM, which is the mobile suit. In this universe, they're called AMEMs. It is a CQC manned AMEM, so it is a close quarters one. It was made by a division in Shioko under a resistance group until that resistance group fell, and then was finished by its pilots, Amoshiba and its AI guy. That's just some stuff that you might want to know about it. But overall, this thing just brings so much uniqueness to my shelf. Originally it was with my master grades, but I moved it to its own shelf with all the other high grades from this line. And even then it still stands out. It is just so cool. So let's get into the articulation. The articulation on this kit is extremely unique. It's not like any other kit I've ever seen before. The head is on a standard ball joint. It actually can do a lot of expressibility. So that's really, really nice. Now we're going to get to the weirdness of this kit. So it has up at the shoulders, has a swivel. It can also move in forward, and it has a working gold piston in there. You can see that disappears and it moves inward. It can also move outward a little bit. This is on a swivel. Be careful, it does just want to come unpegged, but it's not that big a deal. I've never had a limb fall off before. This is also on a swivel, and this hand is by far the coolest part because just look at that. That just looks so cool. How there's a little gap in there. That gap is actually meant for the gun, and I will show you that in the accessories. There's an ab crunch, a really, really nice ab crunch. That is for the transformation unit to its stored mode. It is on a swivel. There's only a back skirting armor, and it can't really move that much. It can only go about that far. And then for the legs, they're on universal joints, so they can go out that far. If you move that upper armor a bit out of the way, they might be able to go up even further. And then they have all the way up to there, and then all the way back to there. That's because the back skirt armor is blocking it. And then you have rotation there. You can get all sorts of unique movements. And then for the feet, these white parts are not adjustable, really. They're just on ball joints. But inside there, you can get the foot to move however you want. It is extremely posable. The toe also has articulation, but I've never really had it been able to stay on just its toes. But I bet you probably can if you balance this kit. Overall, the articulation of this kit is really, really unique. And is honestly, I got this off my shelf and I just messed around with it for well over an hour. It is very, very fun to mess with. And I always want to give certain special attention to the hands because hands make or break kits for me. This is just a simple master grade hands where you can take off the back and the fingers are on separate, and then the thumb is posable, and it also has a hinge on there. So that's the hands. So these are really, really nice hands, better than freaking Origin hands or any real grade posable hands. These are really, really nice hands. I do like these style of hands a lot. While messing around, I found that you could move this even further up, so that means that the legs can go up about that far. It was just stuck. I apologize for not noticing that earlier. Right here is the transformation form or the storage form. This can go into the trucks that they use. That's how it looks like on the ground. So it's pretty much just like this. It's pretty easy. You pretty much just turn the torso around, and that's pretty much all you do. And then you move the arms and the legs in weird configurations. This is pretty cool that they do have this. However, I will never pose it like this. There's also another mode that you can get this into, and it is the unfinished state. So you pretty much just have to take off a bunch of its armor. Might be a little bit difficult, but you pretty much take off all the armor, and then you'll see the shoulders are exposed. The preferred way taking off is taking off the yellow part and then the front side part, and then taking off this gray part right here, which will pretty much just leave this to be slided out just like that. And then there's one more step we have to do, which is take off this side of the shoulder armor. So take up that part, then you separate these two, which will just leave the joint. And then this is the Kenbu unfinished state, and for the accessories for this one besides the hands is this shield piece with the knife in it. The knife piece is removable. We'll just take it off like that. It is removable, but I do prefer to keep it on. And pretty much there is a mechanism in here where you just push this down and then lift this up, and then you can put the shield in there, and that is the unfinished Kenbu with the shield. So this is pretty cool. It has the exact same articulation. I won't go over it. The knife is extremely cool. And overall, I do appreciate that they did this. However, I will not be ever doing this. But it's cool that that is included. And getting all these arm pieces back on is actually just such a breeze. You just peg them in just like that, and then they will be in absolutely no time at all. Just like that, the shoulders are now assembled. These are all of the accessories that the Kenbu comes with. We have already talked about the shield for the unfinished mode, so I will not talk about that again. We do have 6 different hands, 3 for the left, 3 for the right. We have 2 open hands, 2 fisted hands, and then 2 trigger-free hands, so this kit can be ambidextrous. You can choose which one you want the gun and the sword in, which is super cool. So for the next accessory, we have the superheated vibrating combat claws. If you want to deploy them, you pull it out just like this. Have it deployed. These 2 parts here are separate, so they were really easy to paint orange. As you can tell, I didn't actually mess up on these. And instead of this being just like an attachment onto the arm like the shield, this is actually just a whole separate arm unit. So pretty much what you do is you take off this wrist part right here, and then you take off this arm part. And once again, you can put this on either side. I will just put it on this side, and then you put it on like that. And now you have your heat claw right there to be able to be deployed as a arm. So that's pretty cool that it just does give you an entirely separate arm. This is a lot more beefy than this arm. However, I still think this is probably by far my favorite accessory. It is just so cool to have this really, really cool little claw on the Kenbu. Next, we have the super vibrating straight sword. So as you can see, it's pretty sizable. You would need to paint it orange once again. I have this one usually on the backpack, so I don't have it painted. But you pretty much just slide it in like that, and then you have them with the sword. This sword actually has quite a bit of cool molded detailing, and it can be put into the backpack handle. I think the sword's actually really, really cool. However, I just prefer the other 2 weapons that the Kenbu comes with. So next we have the 60mm portable autocannon.
This is a super cool gun. I mean, just look at it. It looks amazing. It has a lot of cool detailing on it. So much to paint a line. It comes with a bunch of decals on it too to add some white flair to it. I personally just didn't do it. But overall, I mean, this is probably one of the coolest guns I've seen for a mech in a while. So, if you want to put into the hand, you are going to want to take your hand, and then you're going to want to take off the 3 fingers right here. They come off, and then you're going to want to grab your gun. After you get the hand out, you just want to align the peg hole right here and the open trigger with this peg right there and the trigger finger, and it will all slide in there. And then you will want to peg the 3 fingers in there and then move your thumb to wherever you want it, just like that. And after that, you can just clip on the hand like that. The stock should fit in between the wrist and the bicep. And yeah, this is by far one of my most favorite weapons. For the last accessory, we have the backpack. The backpack looks really, really nice. There's a lot of good molded in detailing and a lot of places for panel lines. It does have articulation for the weapons, so it can move up like this to pretty much move the weapons over the shoulder like that. So that's pretty cool. And it does have specific ways that you do need to slot the weapons into there. So I will show you that right now. So for the sword, there is a peg right there, and then the top, and then you'll want to put that in there. Like that, and you can hear it clip in there really nicely. And then for the gun, it'll be this top rail right here. And you can do it just like that. Then to attach onto the back, it is super easy. You just clip it in like that. And now he has his backpack, and you can move those arms over in order to get him to hold his weapons. So that's a really cool backpack. I really like the backpack. However, it's more for like the gimmick, not only for display. It would be kind of weird if you displayed it like that, but it's a nice thing to have. Here we have some comparisons. We're going to start off with a full mechanics kit, the full mechanics aerial, high grade origin Gundam. Here we have it with the high grade Kenbu. The full mechanics is so much better. I really do not like the high grade Kenbu that much. So the full mechanics is definitely the way to go with the Kenbu. The master grade origin Gundam. For some general comparisons, we have it with a Lego minifigure. That's about how tall the Lego minifigure is to the full mechanics Kenbu. Here we have it with a 6-inch action figure, the Clone Trooper 501st from Black Series. Studio Series 38, Optimus Prime. And then with a Sharpie. In conclusion, this kit is simply amazing. I know that a lot of people don't really buy the kits because the anime didn't do very well, and for good reason. It kind of sucks. However, I think that people should definitely give this kit a chance. It is so fun, really nice build, and it looks super cool. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and I hope that you have a good rest of your day. See you in the next video.